Parents or Reddit, what do your kids think they're being all slick and sneaky about, but you know all about it? My son is making a book for his mom to tell her how much he loves her. He's still pretty young and just learning to read and write. So slowly, like, over the course of the last few weeks, he'll bring a book up to an adult and ask them to help him read, and then ask randomly, is the word amazing on this page? Where? Oh, can you help me find a story where they have that word? Oh great, is that the word I'm pointing to? Then he disappears for a few minutes, then the cycle will start again with another word. Slowly he's writing a book for her, one word at a time. I know because I followed him one time recent and saw he was writing something in a book, then happened to check it out when he was asleep. So now I know his secret. He was up to about 2 pages and it's really sweet. I don't know how much longer until he'll deem it finished. But I'm sure I'm the only adult who knows what's up. Not a parent, but I'm working in a kindergarten this summer as a kindergarten teacher. One of my students, 5 years old, carries with him this picture his 7-year-old brother drew. He keeps hiding it in his pocket and keeps looking at it when we don't see. Like he goes to the toilet, and while he is pooping he takes the pic out of his pocket, looks at it, and puts it back. When we have naps, he hides it under his pillow and looks at it when we don't see. This is the first time his big brother is not in the kindergarten with him, because he is at the preschool. We had a substitute yesterday, and she yelled at him, "Hey, what are you hiding?" I quickly stepped in and told her not to address it. They don't have the most stable home life, so that might be why he is so attached to his brother. My parents tell the story that as a kid, when I would sneak a cookie from the kitchen I would announce to everyone what I was doing to make sure they didn't come in and catch me. "Don't come in here, I'm sneaking a cookie." Child logic. I asked for the actual quote. It was "I'm going to the kitchen now, don't look." I didn't know this at the time, but my mom loved sitting on the front porch late at night and just enjoy the sounds and smells. She has a beautiful garden. I didn't realize every night when I would pop the screen V off my window and hang out of it to smoke a joint she could see me and smell it. Never said anything till I was in my mid-20s. I thought I was so sneaky in high school. I would come home at curfew, run the water in the bathroom a bit, flush the toilet, and then turn my radio on low. I slept with it on, and then sneak out my bedroom window. My bedroom faced the front of the house, and was on the ground floor. I did this so much that my window screen wouldn't fit properly and kept falling off. Every time it fell off I told my parents that the wind must have ripped it off during the night. Mom bought my story. When I was in my 30s my dad told me he used to get up and watch me from the front window as I ran down the street and got back into my friend's car. When I asked him why he never busted me, he said you were an average student and you never got brought home by the cops. If you had been, you would have been grounded until you were 35. I'm so not sneaky. In high school, my girlfriend's middle school aged brother would walk to the bathroom next to the living room, where the rest of us were, and sniffle and announce, "So man, my nose is really runny today," and grab some tissues to take to his room. Everyone knew he was going back to his room to beat off. If he would just go to the bathroom and put them in his pocket nobody would have a clue. My adult son recently admitted that all those headaches he had in middle school weren't really headaches. He just had a lot of issues with school and didn't want to go. He apologized for lying. I asked if he ever noticed that I always let him stay home and often took us out to lunch when he miraculously felt better after the bus left. As long as he kept his grades at a tolerable level, I knew what he needed was a mental health day, not a sick day. I did take him to the doctor to rule out anything serious, but when it became apparent that his problem was likely stress I just tried to de-stress his life as much as I could and find non-school things he could do to make friends. I have 3 kids, 7 is 3 years. They sneak out of their room late at night trying to get snacks. They never see me standing in the darkness. I've made it my personal mission to sound like a huge booming man and yell at them to get to their rooms. I've never seen them run so fast. I'll share this anyways. When I was in high school I used to sneak out. Shocker, I know. My room was right next to my parents and I guess they could always hear the hardwood floor creaking and then the window sliding up. Well, one night I had snuck out, and then the next day my girlfriend had came over for dinner and my mom looks at us and says, so where did you all go last night? So where did you go? Gravel roading, although that's not all mayo. My son's bedroom recently moved to the basement of our small 2-story house. He thinks he's being sneaky by watching the television down there late at night or when he wakes up to go to the bathroom. Even turns it down really low and shit. What he doesn't realize is that there's a vent right above the TV, which my room is directly above, and the connecting vent is right next to my bed. It's waken me up from a dead sleep twice now, and even with the sound down, like he has it, it kind of echoes. I thought about confronting him, but his summer just started and he's worked hard to improve his grades this year. At 10.5, if that's the worst thing he's doing, I'll let it slide. When my son is trying to play with something that he knows isn't a toy, he'll say, what do you have there? And he'll go, no, and throw whatever it is far away. If it's not in his hands, I obviously can't get onto him for playing with it. He's 3, so that's as sneaky as he gets. We fostered a 4-year-old. She knew she wasn't supposed to leave her room in the morning until we came to get her. I walked in the living room one morning on my way to wake her up, and she's in the cat tree talking to the cat. I just stop and look at her. We make eye contact. She climbs down out of the cat tree while maintaining eye contact and lays down on the floor behind the couch. I still don't think she knows how I ever managed to find her. My kids just finished a week of ninja themed day camp, and I guess part of it involved learning how to set small booby traps because I saw my older son, 8, head upstairs with a step stool. His dad said, what do you need, kiddo? What's the step stool for? Oh, nothing. 5 minutes later I walked upstairs to use the bathroom and saw him carefully positioning a stuffed animal on top of the slightly ajar door to the master bedroom. I studiously ignored it. My kids build these gigantic constructions in our backyard, and their sister always tries to tell on them, but it always disappears before we can get out there. But little does she know, I know all about it, so does my husband, and my kids know what they're doing. Like, come on, you really don't think I can see the roller coaster? And don't get me started on the electric bill. Not my child, but I'm doing teacher assistant jobs while getting my degree to be a teacher. Anyway, one of my students was a little girl who really liked bugs. We were outside and she kept carrying something around. It was a handful of worms. I asked her what she was doing, and she asked to keep them as a pet. So I have to tell her we can't, and she gets upset, stomps over to a bench and sits down, arms crossed and pouting. Around time to come back inside, I'm lining everyone up and she's beaming, happy as a clam. She also won't take her hand out of her pocket. So I immediately realized she pocketed the worms. After another talk, she finally put them back and stomped inside, fairly disgruntled. Lol. I was obsessed with catching grasshoppers in kindergarten. I managed to slip many grasshoppers by my teacher to put in my pencil box and keep in my desk all day, which is surprising considering how often I got caught. Surprised she didn't make me empty my pockets and check my desk every time I came in from recess. My 8-year-old can eat some kind of junk food after he eats vegetables and a protein. When it's something he doesn't like very much, like green beans, he eats slow. A couple of days ago, he ate them in a matter of minutes and asked for a cupcake. He dumped the green beans in the trash and covered with a paper plate. Are you feeding him canned green beans? If so, that has been the cause of many children hating vegetables over the years. Edit. Since I'm hearing over and over again that this is common and no one's parents seem to have any idea how to cook green beans, I'm going to give you 3 recipes to decent green beans that are all delicious and easy. First step in all recipes is to buy fresh green beans and cut the tips off and throw them away. Put the green beans in a bowl. Put oil in the bowl. Put salt and pepper in the bowl. Toss and spread on a baking sheet lined with foil. Roast for 20 minutes at 400 in the oven. Fry up some bacon to render the fat, but not until it's crispy. Then throw in the green beans with a bit of pepper. Don't need salt. The bacon has plenty. Saute until they start to wilt. Pour in a touch of chicken stock, enough to submerge 1/4-1/2, and let simmer for 20 minutes. Put oil in pan. Saute garlic until you can smell it, then add a diced onion. Saute for 7 minutes or so. Add green beans, salt and pepper generously. Saute until green beans are wilted and cooked, but not mush. Drizzle lemon juice and serve. Not the parent but the kid. My parents are extremely prone to embarrassing kids or making jokes when they find out about one of my or my siblings' romantic endeavors. It's certainly not abusive, just makes us all uncomfortable and makes us not want to talk about it with them. I have continued this trend, but since I don't have a car, I'll usually have to get rides from them to dates. Every single time I've said I'm going out with a few friends and thought they believed it. Fucking nope. I eventually realized that they knew when my dad picked me up from the flag football game that a girl invited me to watch. I had said a friend invited me. He said, isn't flag football just for girls? Then they mentioned all the dates that I had been on that year. Doesn't really matter, but I just thought of myself as more discreet than I was.